My name is Jeff Richards. Thank you for joining us here in the second hour of Paranormal. As I said at the beginning of the cast, it's been a pretty heavy week, just generally in the news. If you listen to a lot of the stories and the things that have been reflected on this station and other news sources right across your dial and under your television, things have felt a little heavy lately, and I really wanted to do a different style of cast tonight. I wanted to bring on people who had sort of the lighter side of the paranormal world, and when I asked this next guest to come on, he said, I'm not very paranormal, but you know what? At the end of the day, I thought he was going to be a great fit, and he is. His name is Jamie D. Grant. He has been featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not twice. He's spoken at TEDx in various locations. He's been on the cover of Magic's Genie magazine. He's written 2 books, invented Magic's Trick of the Year. He's played Las Vegas 3 times. He's won bicycle races. He speaks all over the world, saves lives, and he can even memorize the order of a shuffle deck of playing cards in under a minute. He's also the creator of a phenomenal object called the Anything Is Possible bottle. He is a wonderful, wonderful breath of fresh air on a program like this, and I welcome him to the program tonight. Jamie, welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
I am 10 out of 10. Thanks for having me.
I'm happy to have you on. Now, Jamie, a lot of the reason why I wanted to have you on is because I was gifted one of your Impossible bottles by a professional colleague years ago, and it sat on my desk and really served me as an inspiration point. Now, for the listeners right now at home, the Impossible bottle can be found at sendwonder.com. That is Jamie D. Grant's website. He takes a deck of playing cards and he somehow gets a sealed deck of cards inside of a milk bottle, and it's amazing. Now, Jimmy, how did you come up with the idea originally for the Impossible bottle?
Well, it's a bit of a long story, but first, before anything else, can I just ask you to record my demo for the rest of my life? That was the most amazing reading of a bio I have ever heard in my entire life.
Well, thank you. Absolutely. I'm always there. I'm always there for you, Jamie.
The Anything Is Possible bottle came along. I used to be a bike messenger. I'm currently a professional magician and motivational speaker, but I still have a day job as a full-time paramedic here in Vancouver, Canada. And before I became a paramedic, I was a bike messenger in town. And I was, I don't know if any of you don't know what bike messengers are. We're on bicycles delivering envelopes to various buildings around town. And I used to visit all these clients every day. And it was back when the poker boom was on, around 10, 15 years ago. And all these corporate clients were making these high-end poker rooms in their houses. And I thought, well, what if I could come up with a piece of art that, I could get for these guys that would be cool. And I'll make a long story short, I came across the idea of a sealed deck of cards inside an unaltered milk bottle, and after a lot of trial and error and pulling out what little hair left, I finally did it. I finally made it.
Now, I'm not going to ask you how, but I posted the picture on my Facebook page. My own producer here, I've got one of your bottles in studio, came in and was like, how does it work? How does he do it? And the milk bottle is completely unaltered. There's nothing physically. You don't cut off the bottom and then reseal it, nothing like that. It's purely unaltered.
Purely unaltered. And I used to drink the chocolate milk myself. And let me tell you, people at home, if you've never cleaned the inside of a milk bottle, I wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy. It is terrible trying to get it spotless. So, no, I used to drink the milk myself. Man, that was a while ago. Now I just buy the glass empty from the dairy.
That's probably a lot easier. But you don't get the treat of the milk either this way, right? It's a little different.
I know. It's so funny. I built up a chocolate milk addiction, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, Jamie, there's so many facets to what you do, because you're a magician, you're an artist, you are, most importantly, and I think you sort of touched on this already, you are a paramedic, which is phenomenal. You are a real life superhero. Saving, and it's true. It's very true, and I don't mean that as a point of flattery. I have the utmost respect for people that do what you do, because I couldn't, and I'm thankful every step of the way. My middle child had some medical issues a few years ago, and we had to call paramedics, and it was the absolutely just the saving grace was the skill with which paramedics, people that do what you do, handle those situations. So again, hats off and all the kudos for doing that. But there are so many facets to everything that you do, including the artwork that you've done. And this bottle, a couple of years ago, you had a pretty, I guess it seemed like an ambitious campaign probably at the beginning, but you had these bottles photographed at various landmarks right across the world. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've always been an art fan. Some people are, music fans, and some people are sports fans. I've been a real actual art fan, since for as long as I can remember. I love, Picasso and modern work, and I really like street art. And for those of you at home, street art, I don't mean necessarily graffiti, but art that is done outside that, people can experience for no money. They just see it. And one of the world's most famous street artists is a man named Banksy out of England. And he made a movie called Exit Through the Gift Shop, which I highly encourage all of you to watch. And one of my best friends and I, Duncan, and I went to go see this movie, and I came out of that movie thinking, I wish I could be a street artist, but I have no drawing ability whatsoever. My stickmen don't even look like stickmen. So I was like, Dunk, I wish I had something that I could put on the street that I could leave for people. Wait a minute, I could leave the Anything is Possible bottle on the street at random, and people could find it, they could see it, they could take it home. So I came up with the idea of doing 100, I'd try 100, one a day for 100 days, which logistically was a lot harder than I imagined at 12 o'clock at night after walking out of a movie. But I did one the very next day. I left an Anything is Possible bottle out on the street, took a photo, put it up on, social media at the time. And that was the beginning. I did it for one a day for 100 days, and then I still do it now. I just don't do it every single day. But it was an amazing lesson for me in how much work goes behind art. For artists that have these natural gifts, they're still in front of the canvas for days, and I think sometimes we just forget the amount of just sheer will it takes to get these things done. And for me, I had so many people helping me, because you can imagine 100 locations in a city is very difficult to do. So I ended up starting to send some bottles. I think it was like one every 8 or 9 to a friend in advance, asking them to leave it at some place in their town where they were. And the people that helped me, one, Vincent Mara, he left one bottle on the Great Wall of China. Wow. The photos that they sent back were just amazing. And for people that are out of country, if you're not in Vancouver and you're never going to actually pick up an AIP bottle off the street, they started experiencing the art through their computer. If you lived in Hungary and you're looking at the computer, it's the picture of the bottle, which is now your art experience. So the photos became really important. And I really had to up my iPhone. I think it was a BlackBerry, actually, my BlackBerry photo game, to make sure that it was interesting for people to look at on social media.
I remember that whole process, and there was a YouTube video that I saw of. I believe you had left a bottle on just a bench. I think it's near a beach in Vancouver, maybe even. Yeah,
your memory is amazing.
Well, there was a guy who had been collecting bottles, and he drove by with a bicycle with bags and bags of these bottles, and
funny, yeah.
And he found the bottle, and I can just imagine for the people that actually found these pieces of art, Jamie, that was for them that moment. That was probably one of the most magical things that they've experienced, and chances are those bottles stick with them, and they keep them, and they're on a shelf, and they share the story with people again and again and again and again. Now,
that one's so special. Was it? So everyone, I'll paint the picture. So I put it. I don't really stay around when I make a bottle. I kind of don't want to be the creepy guy to see who's picking up my art. I usually just leave it and leave. But I'd done this series, and no one had actually seen someone pick one up, and people were curious. So I set up a camera a fair ways away, and it was a bottle on a bench. And you see this guy riding a bicycle with 2 huge garbage bags.
Massive
garbage bags. Filled with pop bottles. And he stops at the bottle, and he looks at it, but he picks it up and he puts it in his pocket. And that filled me with such joy that he didn't put it in the garbage bag. That I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe this is going to work.
Oh, absolutely! I think you're more than just onto something. Now, Jamie, there are a lot of things that are at the root of who you are and what you do and your philosophies, and you've done some great work, and I've had the pleasure of watching some of your TEDx talks that you've given. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on is because I think that there are a lot of people who would be well served to hear how you deal with just sort of the day-to-day philosophies of hitting these impossible things and making these things happen and growing success. And you talk about how to be successful in a lot of your work. So I want to talk about that after the break. I want to get a little bit of a peek into the philosophies of Jamie D. Grant, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Can't wait to share them.
All right. This is Paranormal. You're listening to News Talk 980 CJME and News Talk 650 CKLM. Author, magician, artist, real-life superhero, as I said, Jamie D. Grant, joining us tonight live on Paranormal. We're talking about his wonderful piece of art, the Anything is Possible bottle, which is a sealed deck of cards inside of a bottle. Now, Jamie, you've done impossible things. As a magician, you've done impossible things. Even, I'm going to say, as a paramedic, sometimes bringing people, back from terrible circumstances seems daunting and might even seem impossible, and you're able to do that through the wonderful work that you do. Now, what do you think has been one of the core philosophies that you've had that has made you sort of understand that it was possible to do these impossible things? What motivates you to try to do these things, Jamie?
I can sum it up really easily, actually. Right now, there is a 5-year-old child playing the piano on stages in Vienna, all over the world. He's a prodigy. He's only 5 years old. But if you ask yourself, how many years max could this kid be playing the piano? It could only be 5 years, and that's if he's, tickling the ivories outside of the womb. So more likely it's about maybe 2 or 3. So I have a question for everyone, which is, have you ever tried to play the bassoon before? And for a lot of people, that'll be no. So my question is, how do you know then that in 3 years' time, you're not the greatest bassoon player to have ever lived? And that's something that I truly believe in, which is that there is a prodigy in every single person. And that people have gifts that I guarantee they have no idea exist within them. And so I encourage everybody to try things. Life it's long if you do it right, and there's a lot of things to try in the world. I think we get kind of a little bit stale, at some point in our lives where we settle into what we know, and we're like, okay, this is what I do, and it might not be exactly what I would love to do, but I'm okay with it. But I encourage everyone to not just be okay, but to try things daily. Try things, sign up for courses, try new things, take friends and family out, do things together, because you just never know what gifts you have that have been latent for the first, however many years of your life.
Wow, that just putting yourself out there, I think, is one of those important things. As you said, trying things, not being complacent, not being stuck in a rut. All too often, I'll have people, because we do a section on the show where I do tarot readings for people on the program, and I'll have people that will call in or text in, just saying that they feel like they're stuck, like I'm just stuck, and what do I do, and what do I do? And it's not about what the cards have to tell them at that point. It's about some of the motivation and the power that I try to fill them with, that I try to give them. And that's one of, moving outside of that level of being stuck and that level of complacency is one of the best points of advice that I give to those individuals. And I think that's what you're echoing here tonight, which is
just try things, get out there. And I don't believe in fear, like just on a personal thing. I just don't believe in it. I don't really let it enter my life. And I think fear is it's a killer of dreams. I think a lot of your listeners probably have gifts that they actually know they have, but they just haven't put it out there because they don't want to be the critiques, and people can be mean online. So the other thing I have is, aside from just trying new things, is if you're an artist, listen to me. Hey, everyone at home, listen to me. If you're an artist of any sort, I don't care if you wrote poetry in grade 9, if you have something that you think that you love, share it immediately. Like, go online right now, post it, put up the picture you drew of a horse when you were 2, because as much as people are going to say, this sucks, there's going to be one person that's going to say, you know what, that just changed my life. And when someone gets critique online, it's a hard thing, but I really want to just get this across, because I get it all the time, is that nothing happens. I still have my beautiful wife. I've got my dog here beside me. Someone could say, Jamie, you're an idiot. My life has not changed at all. I'm still living, a beautiful, wonderful life. So I don't want people to ever be afraid of just trying to put out their art into the world, because someone, I promise you, someone is going to love it.
And, it's not just online haters. There's real-life haters as well that are not just keyboard tough guys. And I think your philosophy is the same. Your life continues despite what they say.
Absolutely. Even if someone, came up to me and, looked at the bottle and said, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, nothing has changed. I'm still going to, go home and eat later. I'm still going to have a roof over my house. And for every person that doesn't like it, there's going to be hundreds that do. Joe Rogan, another podcaster like yourself, had the great line where he said, haters are 100% unrealized potential. And it's a powerful statement. When people tell you that they don't like your work, it doesn't really mean anything. It has nothing to do with you. Whether they like your work or not will not affect your life. What it's saying is that they just don't have things in their life yet that they're able to focus on, that they're probably not loving. So when people ever criticize you, just shake it loose. Who cares? There's going to be some guy in Kentucky who's going to buy a bottle, and it's going to go onto his shelf in his room forever. Yeah. It's going to be, handed down. It's not going to be put in a drawer, And how can you ever discount those powerful rewards that you get from people by someone else saying they don't like it? Yeah. Let go of the haters. Put your art out there.
There we go.
I hope I see it all.
Jamie, we got to take a quick break here. We're going to be back in just a moment with more of your philosophies. This is Paranormal. You're listening to News Talk 980 CJME and News Talk 650 CKOM. Welcome back to the program. My name is Jeff Richards. This is Paranormal. You're listening to News Talk 980 CJME, News Talk 650 CKOM, and online, streaming right across the planet on CJME.com. Thank you so much for joining us here halfway through our second hour on Paranormal. My guest tonight is a man by the name of Jamie D. Grant. He takes decks of cards, sealed decks of cards, and he puts them inside of completely solid milk bottles. He's also an author, he's a magician, and he's a paramedic. All around, just a fantastic guy. He joins us here tonight. Jamie, welcome back to the program. We started talking about some of your philosophies, and one of the philosophies you put forward was really a message to artists to get out there and to put out their art, and regardless of whether people enjoy it or not, just do something. Don't be complacent with what you're currently doing. Put it out there for the rest of the world to enjoy. And there's a TEDx talk that you gave, and one of the things that I love watching TED Talks, and when I saw yours, the thing that really sort of resonated with me was the idea of the impossible, which I thought was it was a really neat concept. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think I just love the word impossible.
It's great wordsmithing. It's awesome.
The point was that, I do when you read my bio on paper, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. I've done a lot of things in my life, but my pitch to people is that I'm actually no different than anyone listening or anyone in the world. I am just a regular, totally normal guy. I just am very good at managing my time and just putting things out there. So one of the things when I do motivational talks is I tell people, listen, go home, buy yourself a baseball, take it, write the word impossible on it, and the next day I want you to pick a buddy, I don't care who it is, leave your phones at home. I'm not a phone hater, but just leave your phones at home. Go out to a field and just throw that ball as far as you can, because A, you might actually throw it across the field and be in the major leagues next week, and it's just a good moment to get away and remind yourself that anything is possible. I want you to take that ball home, put it beside your bed, and every night I want you to just remember, hey, you know what, I threw a baseball today. When's the last time you threw a baseball out of field? Probably a long time ago. And that the world is full of things to try. I want the next morning, go into a pawn shop, pick up a trombone. Maybe you can just rock off some trombone riffs that you never knew of. Go get a pencil, see if you can draw them. Just try things. Put yourself out there. You're gonna change someone's life. I know it.
So with all of these, tremendous pieces that you've woven together into your philosophies going forward into your life and the great things that you've accomplished, what do you think would be sort of, outside of the things we've already talked about, what's one other maybe thing that people overlook, or thing that maybe not enough people are doing in the day-to-day, would you say, Jamie, to really forward the progress in their lives?
if people want to do something, and I'm talking, you can do this in like 1 minute. It's not that you have to do something; it's that you have to stop doing a certain thing. And I call these things digs. And when you dig at someone, it's like, you meet your buddy on the street, and you're like, "Hey, Johnny, putting on some weight, bro." Like that's a dig, or hey, it's a good thing you're wearing a hat. Your hair's not too good. But like if you can eliminate that stuff from your life, you will change your world immediately. And I tell people that kindness takes practice. It's not easy to meet a friend and say, "Hey, Bobby, that's a sweet haircut, yo. I like it. Where'd you get it?" That's just not a normal thing. I think we're brought up, especially in North America, to always, poke fun at each other. And it's something that I have eradicated from my life like a cancer. And when I stopped doing that, everything changed for me, because people started hiring me for gigs and all these things, not because I'm so amazing, but because they felt different when I was around. And I don't even know if people could put a finger on it, but they were like, "When Jamie's here, I feel good about myself." And it's not because I was doing anything really different. I was just not saying, I wasn't making fun of people. And I am now a master at complimenting anyone. I tell the story where my wife, she's a beautiful, beautiful person. And we were at line at Purdy's, and in town, Purdy's is like a chocolate store. And there was this girl beside her, in line. She was a little bit frumpy, she was, by herself, didn't really look happy. And Melissa kind of just bumped her, not like a body check, but just kind of nudged her. And the girl turned and looked at her, and Melissa said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I love your shoes." And this girl, she changed before my very eyes. She went from, sad kind of looking to absolutely glowing. And what did Melissa do? "I love your shoes." 4 words is what she did. 4 words, and she changes. And that girl's going to remember that for weeks. "Oh my gosh, I was buying chocolates, and this beautiful woman likes my shoes." But she's going to remember that for a long time.
Well, it's going to impact the way she carries herself, too. She's going to go into the rest of her day and the rest of her life, hopefully, with more confidence from that point.
Totally. And it costs us nothing. It costs Melissa nothing. "I like your shoes." So if you can eradicate digs, stop making fun of your buddies, start complimenting people, boom, it's gonna change your life.
Amazing food for thought for myself and for the listeners here as well. Now, Jamie, we're going to take just one more quick break here, and when we come back on this program, very often we'll talk about things that are of the paranormal nature, things that can be deemed miraculous sometimes. I want to find out if there's something that maybe you've experienced in your life that you would, put the stamp of miraculous on. And we're going to talk about that in just a few moments. We have Jamie D. Grant. If you want to visit his website, sendwonder.com is the place to go to maybe pick up your very own Anything is Possible bottle. Here on News Talk CJME, this is Jeff Richards. You're listening to Paranormal, News Talk 980 CJME and News Talk 650 CKOM. If you want to send a little bit of wonder to somebody, I encourage you to visit sendwonder.com. That's the website of Jamie D. Grant, where you can actually pick up one of his Anything is Possible bottles. It's, again, something that was gifted to me a while ago, and it really inspired me and got me through a point where I needed that little bit of something extra. And his bottles are a true work of art, so I encourage you to visit that website and send wonder to another person. Right now, though, Jamie, we have you on the line. We're just about at the end of our interview, our time together here, and at the beginning, when I first asked you to come on, you said, I'm not really paranormal, so I don't know if I'm going to be a good fit. And it's been amazing talking to you, but I can't let you go without hearing from you about maybe a moment that you've had that you had happen in your life that you might have deemed to be miraculous or even paranormal. Now, you come from a very analytical perspective, being a magician and having that background, but there's got to be something that's occurred in your day-to-day.
You know what? And there really is. And it was via art. And I think that's the beautiful thing about art, is that it has this power to not just make you think, but to make you feel and really just, adjust your whole mindset. And it was back when I was a bike messenger, I was going through a really hard time at the beginning. And it was very stressful, and I was very busy, and things just hadn't been going the way probably I wanted things to go. And I saw this piece of art from an artist named Gregory Colbert. And it was from a work he did called Ashes and Snow. And it was a photo. And in the photo, it's a picture of an elephant swimming in the ocean. But it's taken from underwater. And in the water is a man, and it kind of looks like he's drowning. And there's only 4 things in this photo, slash work of art. And there's the light, because there's some sunlight coming through the water. So there's the light, the elephant, the water, and the man. And I really identified with the man at the time. I just felt like I was drowning under all this weight of pressure. And I looked at this piece of art and I was like, I don't want to be that guy. You know, how can I be the light? That was what I wanted to be. I don't want to be the water or the elephant. I was like, I want to get out of it all. Like, how do I get to be the light? And I think that was really a time in my life where I started doing those things that I've talked about today, where I started eliminating negativity from my life. I started trying new things. I just took some time to just put myself out there. And I'm not sure that would have happened if it hadn't been for this one piece of work that just really changed me. And when you think about it, it's a piece of paper, you know, or I think I saw it on a screen, you know, it's a hard piece of screen that I looked at. But what was behind it, you know, it really entered deep into my heart. And I totally view that as something way above.
Now, for people out there listening right now who might, you know, be of the same mindset where they're wondering how they can be the light, how they can be that thing for other people, what advice, if any, would you give them?
I would say to do everything in your power to work on being joyous. You know, be joy all the time. Like I have this saying, when I used to be a bike racer, another aspect of my life, and my coach told me, Jamie, when you're a champion, you're not a champion some of the time. When you're a champion all of the time. You know, Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan all of the time. So when I tell people, listen, be kind, put yourself out there, you know, eliminate negativity, I'm not saying do that tomorrow. I'm saying do that forever. You know, if you're going to be this person, if you want to be the light, you can. It's totally doable. The key is you need to be the light all of the time.
Be the light all the time. I love that. Yeah. I love that. That's yeah, Jamie. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you here this evening. You've been a bit of an inspiration in my life, and I know that tonight, just from the things that you've imparted to the listeners of this program, I'm sure you've also been a little bit of an inspiration in their own lives tonight. And I know there are many people who might change the trajectories of their paths just a little bit, and work on being that light or being that champion all the time. So, Jamie, thank you so much for everything you've shared this evening.
That is so kind. Thanks for having me on. Great show.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is awesome.
Now, if people want to pick up a bottle, sendwonder.com, that's the best way to do it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can go visit the site, have a look around, and, yeah, enjoy yourself.
All right. Jamie D. Grant, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you. Jamie D. Grant is he's an author, he's a magician, he's just a wonderful guy. And it's so true, you know? Be a champion all the time. Be the light all the time. That piece of art that he talked about with the elephant and the man, I just shared it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/talkparanormal. It's called Ashes and Snow, as he said, a photography by Gregory Colbert. It's a wonderful piece. It is. It's truly inspiring. You know, you don't want to be the man, you don't want to be the elephant. You want to be the light. The light. And I think that is the biggest piece of advice that Jamie shared with us tonight. If you have questions about anything, by the way, that you've heard on this program tonight, or if you want more insight into the world of Jamie D. Grant and the art that he does, I encourage you, once again, visit the Facebook page. We've got all the links posted up there. You can also send me a message at 306-306, or you can give us a call at 1-877-300-7275. We're going to take a short break here momentarily.